Hi, this is Brittany, and today on the vlog I want to talk about my first and last and only one-night stand. So I have 3 reasons as to why I want to talk about this. Reason number 1, I believe that subjects that are often taboo, like sex, should be talked about as often, as openly, and as honestly and consciously as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. Number 2, I'm going to flip the script on what you might think a one-night stand is. Right? While I'm still going to talk about a one-night stand, this one-night stand isn't guilt-ridden, it isn't dirty, which I feel like a lot of times is associated with one-night stands, like it's wrong, it's bad, it's shameful. This is not the case at all. And number 3, there's a really beautiful lesson from this, and it's a lesson that I believe that whether you've been in a relationship for one night or 100 years, that you might be able to relate to. So here we go. I was in India, it was 2010, and I'd been there for about 2 weeks, woke up and had a kind of crappy morning. I just wasn't feeling that great. I was feeling pretty low. I sat on the edge of my bed and decided to manifest, because I manifested every morning. I said something I wanted to create. I said, I want to meet a Taurus, meaning someone that was born in the month that would make them a Taurus. So fast forward, 9:30 in the morning, I go to this cafe and I sit in a very circular booth. It's like a community booth. And across from me in the same booth was this guy who was quite handsome. And I noticed him. And we started talking after a while. Maybe took like a half an hour and we started talking, and in time I realized, found out that he was indeed a Taurus. I also found out that he was kind of on this journey. He was in a very kind of seeking mode, trying to find and transform his life. So fast forward to about 3:30, and we went from sitting really far apart from each other to sitting like right next to each other. And the reason is because, well, the universe was in our favor. It had rained pretty heavy. And when it rains, people need to kind of come out of, the outside. They need to come out of the rain. So they come in, and it was a community seat that we were sitting on. So more and more people started filling in the seat, which made us have to sit closer and closer together. So it's 3:30. We have talked now for 6 hours about like everything under the sun. Really deep stuff, really funny stuff, really serious stuff, really light stuff. And we kind of landed on the topic of Osho, which, if you know anything about me, Osho is one of my biggest spiritual teachers and has a lot to do with how provocative and kind of deep my practices and my yoga teachings are. So he started talking about Osho and about the specific meditation, which I have taught now for 3 or 4 years. It's called the Osho Dynamic Meditation. And he was actually the first person that told me about this. And he started explaining it. And if you don't know the Osho Dynamic Meditation, there is 10 minutes of chaotic breathing. There's 10 minutes of screaming. It's called catharsis. Literally, you're screaming. There's jumping up and down. There's dancing. There's silence. There's stillness. It's insane, but amazing. Really powerful stuff. So 3:30 in the afternoon, we decide to go back to my hotel room and do this Osho Dynamic meditation, which is really what we both intended to do. So we go back to my very tiny, mold-infested hotel room, which was, it was a shoebox for sure. And we blindfold ourselves and we time ourselves. We didn't have the music, but we started to do this meditation. So the first 10 minutes is chaotic breathing, and then the next 10 minutes is catharsis. So upon that time, we started screaming and jumping at the top of our lungs for 10 minutes straight. With probably like 3 minutes into it, I hear a boom, 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 boom on my door, and I hear, Madame, are you okay? Are you okay? The hotel manager basically thought like I was like dying because I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and I stopped because I was really in it, and I was like, yes. I was like, we are meditating. And he was like, okay, but you're screaming. And I said, but we are meditating, it is okay. And he went away, and we went back to our meditation. Meditation is an hour long. So at the end of the meditation, we sat facing each other and basically strangers at this point, connected and united through just this beautiful day. And we started meditating, and within a couple minutes, it was understood that this was going to be more than a meditation. And I'm going to save you the gory details, but we wound up having a beautiful night of sex. And it was a beautiful, fun, funny experience. The experience was amazing. And still looking back, I can say that it was amazing. So there's more. That night, he left. And we decided that for the next couple of days, while he was still here, he was from Australia, and he was going back in 4 days, we decided that we were gonna hang out and spend time together and get to know each other better and have fun. And we decided to meet the next day at the same place we met that day, this little cafe, this Buddha cafe. So the next day, I took a yoga class, and it was really weird. Like, I just kind of took my time. I wasn't in a rush to get there. And I wound up getting there 30 minutes late. And when I got there, he wasn't there. And to this day, I never know if he ever came, because he was never there. He never showed up. He may have showed up and left. He may have never showed up. So I started sitting there waiting for him. And as I sat there, realizing that he wasn't going to show, my feelings about the night before started to change. Instead of feeling that it was an elated, beautiful night, I started to feel guilty and shameful and question it and question him and question myself. And I started to go down this really ugly spiral. And then I stopped and I said, whoa, wait, what are you doing? And I took out my journal and I started to write. And I wrote something like this. I came to this realization that him showing up or not showing up does not validate or not validate what happened the day before. Because I know in my heart and in my soul that the day before was perfect, was beautiful, was auspicious, was inspired, and was very conscious, and was exactly what I needed in that moment. And in that moment, I realized that it didn't matter if I ever saw him again, because that moment was perfect just the way it was, and I was present to that experience. Right? So I just want to share that with you, because a lot of times we let someone else's actions or lack of actions define something. We let culture define something. We let the media define things. We let movies define how things should be and how our experiences should be. And we don't have to do that, right? Because we know how things are for us. We know how they felt, how they feel. And we can give the definitions. We can revive or re-inspire anything that we want to. Okay? So just remember that the next time you maybe get into a head trip about anything, whether it's a one-night stand or work or a relationship. And if you have any thoughts on this, I'd love to hear you in the comments below. Have a beautiful, conscious day, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Hi. Whoa. Stop. That hi was ridiculous.